Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all of you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
al hall
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. नहीं नहीं
Thank you, Mataji. So wonderfully, all are classical singers. I am very fortunate to have all your association. I can't really express how lucky I am. Thank you so much, Mataji, once again. Nagalakshmi Mataji, Hare Krishna. So, yes, so we promised to sing one Vaishnava song. I don't know, we are running short of time. Okay, so anybody prepared to sing this Vaishnava song I just shared with you in the group? Okay, Devhuti Mataji is there. Nagalakshmi Mataji is also there. Who else would like to sing this song? The E Anilo Premadana. Is that the song I sent you? Okay. So only two Matajis, no other Matajis? Okay. So let me share the screen. I am somehow a little more passionate about these Vaishnava songs because these Vaishnava songs are no less than Bhagavatam. Please, this is not me saying, this is Srila Prabhupada saying. These Vaishnava songs are no less than any literature, Vedic literature that you have. So that's as important as that. So this is all realized souls. Narottam Das Thakur is one of the Manjaris. So what we can expect from them more? So, okay, 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Okay, Matajis, we have competition between Devahuti Devi Mataji and Nagalakshmi Mataji. Devahuti Mataji, you take the lead, and Nagalakshmi Mataji will follow. So can you sing this song? I'm just putting it on the screen. You can start. Go ahead, Mataji.
Ebaro Karuna Karu Vaishnava Gosai Patita Pavana Tuma Bini Kehunai
ये बारो करुणा करो वैष्णवी गोसाई पतिता पावन तुम बिने के हो ना
Jahare Nika ते गले पाप दूरे যায় এমন দয়ালা প্রভু কে বা কোথা পায়
যাহারা নিকাতে গেলে পাপা
দূরে পাপ দূরে
পাপা দূরি যে
যায়
যায় এমন
এমন দয়ালা প্রভু
দয়ালা প্রভু কে বা কথা পায়
গঙ্গার পারাসা হইলে পাশাতে পাবানা দর্শনে পবিত্র করো এ তোমার গুণা
গঙ্গারা
পরসা
হইলে পশত পবনা দর্শনে পবিত্র করো ইতমোর গুণ
হরিস্থানে অপরাধে তারে হরি নাম তোমার স্থানে অপরাধে নাহি পরিত্রাণ
হরিস্থানে আপরাধে তুম হরি নাম তোম স্থানে আপরাধে নাহি পরিত্রাণ
তোমার হৃদয় সদা গোবিন্দ বিশ্রাম গোবিন্দ কহে না মোরা বৈষ্ণব পরায়ণ
তোমরা হৃদয়ে সদা গোবিন্দ বিশ্রাম গোবিন্দ কহে না মোরা বৈষ্ণব পরায়ণ
প্রতি জনমে করিয়াছা চরণের ধূলি নরোত্তমে করো দয়া আপনার বলি
প্রতি জন্ম করিয়াছা করণে ধূলি নরোত্তমে করো দয়া আপনার বলি
এইবার করুণা করো বৈষ্ণব গোসাই পতিতা পাবনা তোমা বিনে কেহ নাই
करो करुणा करो वैष्णवी गोसाई पतिता पावन तोमा बिन के हनाई
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Thank you, Mataji, for wonderfully singing this song. It has taken to the next level. Thank you, Devahuti Mataji and Nagalakshmi Mataji. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
I request all the devotees to really practice these Vaishnava songs, and just by singing this, you get the spiritual enlightenment. Just by singing only, you don't. If you understand the meaning, nothing like it. Just by singing only, we can get. Thank you, Mataji. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So we'll get started. Please forgive me for the delay. So we were in Gita Sadhaka, in the chapter 2, we were discussing yesterday about the two duties, the duties that we perform. Okay, so we discussed that there are two duties that one should be performing. One is Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. So Arjuna was bewildered to take up he kind of bewildered and he was not able to understand what is Swadharma and Sanatan Dharma. Also, he was not really getting that how to go and do that. So he was totally confused. So that's where Krishna has given elaborate discussion on this, where he has told what is Dharma actually. So Dharma is something which is intrinsic characteristic of something. That's called Dharma. And we have also seen that human beings, the Dharma is that Atato Brahma Jignasa is the first level to qualify yourself as you are a human being. That's first level. And the second level is that there are two types of Dharma that you need to follow. One is Swadharma, which is based on what? Swadharma is based on? So, did I mute everyone? You are not able to unmute? Is it how it is?
No, Prabhuji, we can unmute.
Okay, thank you. So, Swadharma is based on what?
Material needs.
Swadharma is based on material needs. Any other answer?
Ashramas.
It is based on your Varna and Ashrama both. Not just Ashrama only, Varna and Ashrama, and what is given in our prescribed duties, which are given as per the Vedic Shastras. So that is what, when you follow, you are doing your Swadharma. So that's one thing. And Sanatan Dharma is basically whatever you need to do to fulfill, to go back to Goloka. That is your Sanatan Dharma, because that's a eternal Dharma that you need to do. If not this life, whatever amount you can do in this life, you do, and subsequent lives, you will get that credit, and finally you will go back to Goloka. If you have come to this forum, you have come to take the shelter of Srila Prabhupada and this community, Vaishnava community, that means you had pious credit. I would say that you had the spiritual bank balance for which you have come here. This is what Vaishnavas, senior Vaishnavas say. It is not just by chance that you are coming here. Please understand this. If you utilize this opportunity, you never know. You might go back to Goloka in this lifetime itself. So don't underestimate what is possible. And if you endeavor, it is possible that you may go back to Goloka, because finally it is not your decision. Your effort is there, but finally Krishna is sanctioning. And if Krishna sanctions what is not possible, He will just sanction it. So the whole point is that how much desire you have is that what determines whether you can go back to Goloka. How much you are able to surrender to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. That's all is the for factors that influence you to go back. It is as simple as that. Once Srila Prabhupada was asked, his disciples asked, Srila Prabhupada, we are following the Bhagavad Gita and following your instructions. Do you think that we can go back to Goloka? Then he said, how much time does it take? He said, the disciples asked, how much? Then he said, it takes only 1 second. 1 second to go back to Goloka. It is just that you need to determine yourself to surrender. So we are not ready to surrender, and we are still having our own preconceived notion that my this thing will help me, my that thing will help me, and I will get enjoyment here, I will get enjoyment there. So this entanglement is what is making us stay here, and not just stay here, come back to this material world again. So we need to come out of that cycle and understand that our eternal dharma is to do loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. And if you can take care of that as well as your prescribed duties, that's what we need to. Don't give up your prescribed duties. Please understand that Krishna never said that give up your family, give up your occupation. No, he said, you are a Kshatriya, fight, man. Why are you giving up? He chastised him. So if you are a Grihani, if you are a Grihastha, you are a Brahmachari, whatever, you have to take care of that Varna and Ashrama Dharma. So in addition to that, don't neglect your Sanatana Dharma. Okay. So yeah, yesterday we have seen this, that your karma, it can be made as an akarma also when you dovetail it with Krishna and do it for the satisfaction of Krishna and not expecting any fruits of the results for yourself. So that's what we discussed. And so this is what the material spiritual duty and these duties, and we need to balance these two duties. That's what is very important. Any doubts so far anybody has that you need to clarify before we go into the next part of okay. So these are Sakama Karma and Nishkama Karma. Can somebody tell me what's the difference between Sakama Karma and Nishkama Karma?
Sakama karma is with desire, performing prescribed duties, which gives like with desire, and Nishkam karma is without expecting fruits or offered to Lord.
Okay, yes. Nishkama Karma, as you mentioned, Sakama Karma is with desire you're doing. Nishkama Karma is basically you are having the desire, and the desire is not towards you. It is for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. So that is, so you cannot become desireless. Please understand this. Now Shastra says that because desire is the integral part of the soul. So if soul is there, it will desire something. So instead of desiring for your selfish interest, but desire it for Krishna. It cannot be forcefully done. But when you follow this process, whatever is given by our acharyas, then we can achieve the doing Nishkama Karma in whatever activity which you are doing. Slowly, you are also started cultivating that. Now, maybe we have all taken baby steps, but still we are started thinking about Nishkama Karma only. So, say I was asked. Okay, we'll discuss that. Detailed work without reactions is what detached work. Sorry. Detached work without reactions is what it's called Buddhi Yoga. And if somebody remembers, we also gave one definition for Buddhi Yoga in our Gita Sandesh. Can somebody remember Buddhi Yoga definition? The diagram we have given. Anybody remembers that? No, you should have asked, how is that this related or not? Anybody remembers? No? Okay.
Karma Yoga based on Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam.
Go ahead.
Karma Yoga based on strong platform of Jnana Yoga.
Okay.
With strong faith in I mean, 1 minute, Prabhuji.
Okay. So Buddhi Yoga, that time what we defined is that Buddhi Yoga is Karma Yoga on a strong platform of Jnana Yoga with a mindset of Bhakti Yoga. That means why you are doing it is Bhakti Yoga actually, because you are doing it for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, and with knowledge you are doing what you are doing work, Karma Yoga. So that way, because you are including your intellect also, that utilizing the intellect for the service of the Supreme Lord, or when you are doing that work for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, that becomes Buddhi Yoga. So I know sometimes people get confused, but these are the terms that you will come across. Sakama Karma Yoga, performing prescribed duties, gives enjoyment for yourself. And Krishna mentioned that you do your work with desire also, but maybe it is not the best principle to follow, but this also is fine for you initially. Or if suppose you are not going into that kind of a platform, this platform is also going to help you. It's not something abominable kind of a thing. So you can desire and do it, and you will be getting the kingdom if you win. If you are losing, you will go to heaven. So, and finally what he said is that don't give up your activity, your prescribed duties. So that is what he's saying. Okay. Any doubts anybody has, please stop me. Okay. So this is the sloka that I want some of you to volunteer, because as I told you, these sessions, don't expect a lot of things from me. Okay. We have done philosophically what we need to tell to a large extent, not so much, but now it is more up to you to drive these meetings, whether it is singing Vaishnava songs or reading the slokas or discussing. So all these should be driven from the participants. So I am expecting you, each one of you, to carry out the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and take it forward. So Yashoda Mataji attended few classes, and now she is taking classes for from tomorrow onwards. Is it from tomorrow, Mataji? Yashoda Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu, with all your mercy.
All the best, Mataji. Fantastic. So Yashoda Mataji is taking Gita Sandesh classes from tomorrow for the next 20 days in the afternoon session. So some of you would like to attend, you can attend. Okay. So this sloka, very important sloka. Swadharma chavekshya navikampitum arhasi dharmyadi yuddha shreyonyat kshatriyasya navidyate. Sloka, it is that word, one or two words are difficult, but yes. Go ahead, Mataji, please. Devati Mataji.
स्वधर्ममपि चावेक्ष्य नाविकामपितुम् अर्हसि धर्मयाधि युद्धश्च श्रेयोन्यात् क्षत्रियस्य न विद्यते.
Okay, one other Prabhuji or Mataji. So each one of you practice, and if you wanted to send the recordings also, that would be nice. So here what it is told is that one has to perform a specific duty based on his varna and ashrama. That's what Krishna is saying, and that's what and Krishna is giving all the reasons now why he should fight, and whatever previously is compassion and saintliness and fear of sinful reaction, all have been proved to be false in the sense it's on a wrong platform that Arjuna is there. So he has clarified all that. Hatova praptasi swargam jitva bhokshyasi mahim tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya kruta nischaya. Can somebody read the translation?
O son of Kunti, either you will be killed on the battlefield and attain the heavenly planet, or you will conquer and enjoy the earthly kingdom. Therefore, get up with determination and fight.
So how is that we can apply this in our life? What do you think? Is there any way that you can, because we are not in the battlefield, and how is that we can use this?
Prabhuji, sometimes we are low in our, sometimes we have a problem, you feel very low. So at that time, I think we can use this way of coming up to get back the energy to come back to life.
Absolutely. See, sometimes what happens is that you have the tendency of laziness and you tend to forget your prescribed duties. And here it is what Krishna is saying, that where we are in this material world, it is also a battlefield for us, because you have to fight with whom? Can somebody tell me with whom you are fighting? Who is enemy?
Prabhuji, we are fighting with Maya.
Who said that? Who said that? Rajesh Prabhu? Huh?
I think Parthiban, I told you, and I think parallelly another Prabhuji also told it.
Okay. Very nice. Thank you, Prabhu. So we are fighting with Maya. So every day we are fighting with Maya. To get up early in the morning, it's so difficult. Your alarm, you put it at 5 o'clock, 4:30. But again, the Maya is there. It will ask you, okay, sleep for some more time. What is there? So, and your mind is also getting engaged with Maya so many times. There is one nice video on the internet that we have done a mime. If you want, you can see it sometime. It's me and my mind, how this Maya is going to influence you. And finally, when you take up to the chanting process, how you can make your mind your friend is also shown in that particular video. So I'll share it with in the group. You can see it's a mime, very funny one. So we can see that. Okay, if you have any doubts, please you can stop me. So in the next part, Buddhi Yoga, Nishkama Karma Yoga, Krishna basically is going to tell you that fight as a duty, equanimity in duality. Krishna has never said that in this material world you will not have difficulties. He said most of the time, if you see in the subsequent verses also, he said that tolerate. So some people say that I am in Krishna consciousness for last 10 years. I've been doing chanting for so many years. But why is that difficulties are coming in my life? Krishna is nearly not interested in me. I don't think really there is any God. So people tend to say this. But Krishna is saying that, see, Krishna was present in the battlefield, and in front of him, Draupadi has to lose all her 5 children. What to talk about that? Did she say that, yeah, I don't consider you anymore as Supreme Lord? Krishna, you are no more a God. So they never, Pandavas also never said that, because anything that Krishna does, it does it with a plan. And at the same time, what we need to understand is that we have to surrender to the Supreme Lord. Whatever he is doing it for a reason. And that's how you need to take. And when you have that kind of a attitude, then you will start seeing that Krishna is playing a prominent role in your life. Till that time, you think that there is no God at all. There is no Krishna in my life. But when you start submitting yourself, the amount of submission, the amount of surrendering that you are doing towards Krishna, so much he will reveal to you. That's the bottom line. The whole thing is that. And now, sometimes we ask, how is that possible? How just by saying will it happen? When you do your chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, practically you can get into that surrender mode. And this is what is there as part of the Sistashtakam also. If you go through some of the video recordings that we were talking about Japa sessions, you will see that. So please attend Japa, please do your chanting. That is the Yuga Dharma. Just by knowledge, you cannot do anything. You have to apply that knowledge and you need to follow the process. And that process, what is recommended for this Yuga is Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. So sometimes what happens is that we are into one kind of a mindset. The mindset is that I just wanted only knowledge. I need only Bhagavad Gita classes only. I don't want to follow the process, then you cannot get 100% results. You will get some results, but 100% results if you want, you have to do all the three things. Can somebody tell me what are the three things you need to do?
Seva, sadhana, swadhyaya.
Yes. So how much you are doing, put a timetable. Each day you have to do something into this account, bank balance. So sadhana, how much I am supposed to do as per my time, place and circumstance, how much I have committed to do, and swadhyay, how much of reading I am doing, listening I am doing. So that much you need to do. And the seva opportunities, if is there, like now whatever singing you are doing, submitting your assignments, it's also a seva. Asking doubts is also a seva. How can you say that asking doubts is a seva? Anybody?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It helps all the other team members also who are here.
Yes, you are able to connect others also to Krishna, and you are doing it with no any ulterior motives. Your motto is that, yes, I wanted to clarify myself for my benefit, and at the same time, others can also get benefited, right? So I am getting purified, and in that process, others also getting purified. So that kind of any activity that you are taking up can be made into an yajna, can be made into an akarma. Any activity, just is that, just instead of diverting to yourself for your mental satisfaction, for your personal benefit, instead of thinking like that, think about that I am doing it for Krishna's sake. I am doing it in connection with Krishna. Whatever you do, that will be an akarma only. Whatever you do in connection with Krishna. Maybe sometimes you may say that, suppose I am taking these classes. Maybe I might think sometime that, okay, maybe when I go outside, some people will recognize me and say that, you are the person I have seen you taking classes. Okay, that kind of a thing also may come into your mind, but that's also fine. At least they are thinking about you and remembering Krishna, right? That way also it is going to benefit. So anything that you dovetail with Krishna, that is what is akarma for us. Anything where Krishna can come into picture in that activity, yes, it's an akarma. How can you make cooking as akarma?
By offering to Krishna.
Devavati Mataji, repeat one more time.
By offering it to Krishna.
You
as
are
a prasadam. As a bhoga. Sorry.
Yeah. So you are doing it for the satisfaction of Krishna. So you are doing it with the bhav. So each one of you should have an altar in your home, and you see, having an altar. You see, once upon a time we used to have a big TV in our hall. You will believe me or not. Whenever I used to come home, the first switch that I used to put. Can somebody tell me which switch you will be putting?
The TV switch.
So I used to put that idiotic box which used to be there. That is, before I switch on the tube light also, first switch will go to that idiotic box. I'm calling it as idiotic box because anything that makes you, drags you to do as per that device, the terms and conditions, that is where the problem is. Seeing TV is nothing wrong per se. We don't have TV for the last probably 8 years now. We do not have TV at home, and at least my family is cooperating, and they themselves said we don't want TV. So my wife is an initiated devotee. My son is also taken up nicely to this process. So the point what we are trying to say is that use the devices, but again, devices should not use you. Just keep that in mind. Mobile phone, switch it off for one day and see what will happen. That way your detachment will be increased and you can practice detachment. See, somebody was saying that when you die, at the time of death, the pain is so much. How much is the pain? Can somebody tell? When you, as per the Shastra.
40,000 scorpions biting.
30,000 scorpion biting at the same time, at the same spot. So much pain is there at the time of death. Why? Why so much? See, if suppose some of your close relative have passed away, how much pain you will have? Close relative has passed away. Because that person is left. Now, at the time of death, you are leaving everything, including your family members, your possessions, your this, your that. How much pain you will have? So that is the reason why in our age-old custom, they used to say, did you go to Kashi? Did you go and come to Kashi? What did you leave? So they are asking you, and there was a practice earlier, they used to do that. Something something when you leave and you are practicing it, then at the time of your death, you can remember Krishna. Instead of focusing on these kind of attachments, you can focus on Krishna. So that's what we also should practice, this detachment. So at least theoretically understand that nothing is going to come along with us. Because Yudhishthira Maharaj was asked once by Yakshas, he was asked, Kin Acharya Jagat. So what is that is astonishing thing in this world?
Death.
Yes, Mataji, Devotri Mataji, you're saying something. Somebody know the answer? Go ahead.
Death.
There is some network problem, Mataji. Could you repeat one more time?
The thing is that death, everyone has to die, but no one accepts that he has to.
So everybody knows, not everybody knows. If his family members, his cousins, so everybody is dying, but he feels that he will never die. So that is the greatest astonishing thing. That's what Yudhishthira Maharaj says. In fact, to some extent, I would say that kind of a thing is justified. Can somebody tell me, if you have analyzed a little bit more, you will get to the answer. Why is that we are feeling like that? Is it some mental concoction that we have, or really is this the right kind of feeling?
We want to enjoy the material.
Okay.
We are attached to the materialistic.
My question was to probe you to ask and answer, why is that I am feeling that I will never die? Is it a wrong notion that I have, or is it a real notion?
Probably it's a wrong notion. Actually, we are considering, few people are considering the body is true. Like most of the people are not thinking like we are soul. We are considering them as a body. So they are thinking that there won't be any end for the body like that. Maybe this is my understanding.
So the point what we are trying to drive here is that what Yudhishthira Maharaj said is correct. But again, that innermost feeling that is coming, that I will never die, is the soul. That is the characteristic of the soul. The soul is saying that. Actually, if you understand at a deeper level, the soul will never die. And that is the reason, in one way, you will become fearless at one point of time. Please understand this. If you operate at a spiritual level, you will not have any fear. And when you start operating at the spiritual level, I am the spirit soul. There is no death. That may be for this body, but actually I cannot. So whatever Krishna said, Nainam Chindanti Shastrani and all these things are not just to ratta. It is actually, you can realize that. I have realized to some extent, not so much, but again, each one of you can become fearless. And at the time of death, I will tell you, there was one Maharaj in our ISKCON community. So that Maharaj, doctors have told him that he was suffering from cancer or some incurable disease where he will leave his body in 10 days. And he came to Mayapur and he wanted to leave his body here. And he's called Jolly Maharaj. Jolly Maharaj. He was very jolly. And he is supposed to leave his body in 2 days. And his belly, his stomach has become so big That is, and he was asking the doctor, when will I deliver the baby? He was going to die in 2 to 3 days. He was asking the doctor in a very happy mood. Just imagine, he is asking in a happy mood, saying that when will I deliver the baby, because my belly has become so big. And just before, one day before he was leaving his body, he called up some youths, 10-15 youth have come, so school going children, and for each one of them he said, chanting is the process. I have done my 16 rounds. You take up to the chanting, and each one of the 10 boys or 15 boys who come picked up the chanting beats and did chanting there. Because just see, by example you can preach. And this you can just go and search in the internet. I can send you the details of this Maharaj, and this practically happened.
Sridhar Maharaj, Prabhu, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Sridhar Maharaj, Prabhu. Sridhar Maharaj.
Yes, Maharaj, Sridhar Maharaj is a elevated soul. So basically, they got the association of Srila Prabhupada, and they implemented the teachings, and they surrendered. That's the whole point. So each one, see, I'm not trying to bring you to a platform where you can become master in reading slokas, etc. Yes, but at the same time, you should also understand the inner details and implement certain things in your life. Okay. So similarly, here, no loss in this yoga, whatever Krishna is saying, when you, how is that there is to be no loss? What's the inner meaning for this? Because if you are coming to this class, you should have done your reading already. I would say that next time I'll just put one slide and ask each one of you to discuss, and each one of you to speak. I will not be speaking, because as I told you earlier also, this session should be driven by you. It's not me driving. So
the soul is immortal.
Soul is immortal. No loss in this yoga. What does that mean? 40th sloka. If you have Bhagavad Gita, I want you to refer and start reading Bhagavad Gita. No loss in this yoga. What is Krishna's meaning here? No loss in this yoga.
But whatever we do, it starts from there. Like if we do 10%, we'll start from 11%.
Fantastic. The Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice example in the purport also. He probably, I think he uses this 10%. If you have done till this lifetime, next life it will start from 11%. 11%. Okay. So that is what. Just one liner, if you remember, more than enough. You don't have to remember the entire philosophy. That's what intelligence, one pointed versus many branched. So this also we'll see. We'll see that. That's a very nice sloka. Obstacles for one pointed intelligence. So rise above the Vedic Karma Kanda. So what is Karma Kanda? What is Karma Kanda?
Doing prescribed duties with desire.
Fantastic. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. So Karma Kanda is nothing but the prescribed duties. And why it is called Karma Kanda? Basically, it has come from the Vedas only, but you are doing it for your satisfaction. And so you need to rise above. That means don't just be restricted to prescribed duties. That is what it means. So rise above the Vedic Karma Kandas. Go to the next level. Yes, you have done your prescribed duties, but don't just limit yourself there. Beautiful work with the detachment to results. This is what Buddhi Yoga is actually. So that is where it defines what is Buddhi Yoga 47. Sukha dukkhe same krutva labha labho jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujyo swa naivam papam avapsyasi. Can somebody read the sloka?
Do thou fight for the sake of fighting, without considering happiness or distress, loss or pain, victory or defeat, and by so doing you shall never incur sin.
Okay. But Gauri Mataji, please forgive me, but can you read the sloka also? And try. Yeah, I know. Sometimes we are not coming out of the comfort zone. Yes, please.
Okay. Sukadeke same krutva labha labho jaya 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 jayai Tate Yuddhai
Yujyasva
Pujasva
Naivam
Navam Papa
Avapsyasi.
Navapsisi.
Fantastic, Mother. Thank you so much. Very nicely you have done. So once we practice more, then it will become our second nature. Okay. Thank you so much. So here, what is Krishna is saying that do thou fight for the sake of fighting without considering happiness or distress, loss or gain, victory or defeat. And by so doing, you shall never incur sin. Because he was saying one of the reasons why he don't wanted to fight is because he's saying that I will incur sin. To counter that, Krishna is telling that no, you will counter sin if you do not fight. If you fight with this mindset, you will never incur sin. You understand that? See, it is not the activity which gives you sin. It gives you, the sin is more going to come with the intention with which you are doing. So that is what we need to consider here. So Krishna is clearly saying, you fight, but don't consider for the happiness or distress is coming, loss or gain, doesn't matter. So you fight it as a duty. At the same time, when you do it as your prescribed duties, sin will not really touch you. So few duties we have in that part, Buddhi Yoga, this is where he's talking about. So we will quickly go through the purports like translations, because we have so much to cover. Thus far, I have described this knowledge to you through analytical study. Now listen as I explain it in terms of working without fruitive results. O son of Partha, when you act in such knowledge, you can free yourself from the bondage of work. So here he is more focusing on saying that use your intelligence, buddhi, and come out of this fruitive mentality. Because if you engage your mind, it is going to deceive you. Because the mind should not be trusted. The higher than your mind is your intellect. Use your intellect. That is what he's telling here, and that is basically what Buddhi Yoga is. And if you wanted to to purify your intellect, what you need to do? What is
Swadhyaya.
Swadhyaya basically scriptural study will sharpen your intellect and purify your intellect. And the mind, it is not in silos, but at the same time, basically your sadhana will take care of the mind very nicely. For that matter, they are not in silos, but primarily they work in these areas very nicely. Okay. So this is also a very important sloka. Neha bi vikramanashosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayato mahato bhavayat. So in this endeavor, there is no loss or diminution. That's what Mataji was saying, Megha Shukla Mataji just now, saying that so there is no loss. So whatever you do from 10%, if you have done only 10% this lifetime, when you go back to your next life, it will start from 11%. In your previous life, you might have done a certain percentage. For that reason only, we are all here in this association. If not, there is no chance. See how many people are there in this Hyderabad itself and in this India itself. How many people are taking up to the spiritual process? You have convinced yourself, you have seen it yourself, that whatever endeavor you have done so far in the material front, it is not going to give you the final happiness. Thank you, Venkat Prabhu, for joining. So nice to see you back. Venkat Prabhu, Hare Krishna. So I think he's in mute. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Venkat Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
See you back. Hare Krishna. So next sloka, I want some of you to take up to reading also. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekoha kurunandana bahushaka hi anantascha buddhayo vyavasayinam. Can somebody read the translation? Yeah, Ramya Mataji, can you do it?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Those who are on this path are resolute in purpose, and their aim is one. O beloved child of the Kurus, the intelligence of those who are irresolute is many branched.
Okay. So, what is the difference between mundane people versus people who are, we call ourselves, are devotees? Or if you wanted to compare within the devotee community also, you can compare based on this. Vyavasayatmika buddhi. What does Vyavasayatmika buddhi means? So a person resolute in Krishna consciousness is Vyavasayatmika buddhi. A strong faith that by which, that by Krishna consciousness, one will be elevated to the highest perfection of life is called Vyavasayatmika buddhi or Vyavasayatmika intelligence. Krishna is saying that you have to cultivate that kind of a intelligence wherein a strong faith is there that Krishna consciousness, when I follow the Krishna consciousness process, I will be elevated to the highest perfection in my life. And what is that Krishna consciousness process? First of all, you take care of chanting the holy name and having the right kind of a knowledge with the scriptures and doing certain service so that you can put it into practice of not getting attached to the work that you are doing. So inactivity is what Krishna never recommended. So you need to do certain activity, do it as a seva, right? So that is what it is meant here. Okay. So faith means what is faith means? Can somebody tell me what is faith? Because they are small words, but
Belief in Krishna consciousness.
Belief in Krishna consciousness. What else? Faith means what?
Krishna will protect me in any circumstances.
In any circumstances, what, Mataji?
Whether I'm in difficulty or in happiness.
Okay. Can you give me some examples that you can think about?
Having trust in something.
Trust in something. Very nice. Fantastic. Very nice. Not just normal trust.
Yeah. Complete trust. Like you will not quiver or waver from what you believe.
Very nice. You can say that unflinching faith, unflinching trust is what faith means, right? And it is coming from within. So I'll give you an example. See, you have a small baby, maybe 2 months, 3 months, and the baby, the mother has taken the baby and put it on her shoulder, and she is moving here and there in the bus. She's climbing the bus. The baby is nicely sleeping because it has full trust on its mother, and the baby is not at all so that unflinching faith it has. And so when we cultivate that unflinching faith in the Krishna consciousness process, as well as in the instructions given by Krishna, and follow it, that is what will give rise to cultivating that faith, and at the same time increasing our spiritual bank balance, and going back to Goloka, we'll get the qualification. So it is as good as that. So the point is that faith is in one way the first step for your spiritual growth. If you see yourself 10 days before or 20 days before you attended these classes, or now and going forward, your faith should be increasing on the Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, and you should also be able to ready to enthusiastically take up to this process. And your enthusiasm should increase every day, not that it is diminishing, right? So if you wanted to see, enthusiasm is one quality that is required to be in the spiritual process, this thing. So how do I cultivate this enthusiasm? I cannot generate, sometimes not possible. So what do I do?
By practicing it continuously.
Practicing what? You'll get the enthusiasm.
Krishna consciousness. Sadhana.
What else? Just think.
associating.
Yes, Prabhu.
Associating with the enthusiastic devotees.
Very nice. So it is like I have certain enthusiasm. Now I know there are few other very enthusiastic people. So when I get and mingle with them, automatically enthusiasm will come. And as per the physics also, there are some vibrations that if you, without your knowing only, automatically they'll come and hit you and you will become enthusiastic in your life. So this is what Srila Prabhupada in his fag end, while he was leaving his material body, the last instruction before he left, it is available in the YouTube. You can go and see that. He said, association is what you need to always have. And he came qualified. He said, good association. Again, in the end, he still qualified. He said, devotee association. First association. Show me your best 5 friends. I'll tell you what is your character. I'll tell you what kind of enthusiasm you will carry. What kind of success rate you will be able to find in your what do you say, in your material life as well as spiritual life. So your success also depends upon the kind of people you are associating with in the material world. And the spiritual world also, you need to get success. So you need to associate with that kind of people, right? And yeah. So resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on, not just based on some what do you say, it's based on knowledge. So that the resolute purpose of a person in Krishna consciousness is based on knowledge. Okay, the knowledge what Krishna is giving. It is not some what is the right word to use. So it's not based on some dogmatic ideas. It's based on actual knowledge, based on Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, like that. Okay, so it is also mentioned that a devotee, when he what kind of a illusion, what kind of a mindset he will get slowly while he is progressing in his spiritual path is that Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha. So he says that a person in Krishna consciousness is a rare good soul who knows perfectly that Vasudeva or Krishna is the root of all manifested causes. So when you know that Krishna is behind everything, and whatever activity, good, bad, whatever is happening with me, it is just because of Krishna. So your total surrender means that if I am able to see, so what it means is that you are saying that Krishna, you are all in all. If I am able to breathe, it is because of you. If I am able to sleep, it is because of you. So you know what? In fact, that is true also. We are not doing, are we consciously doing digestion? Are we generating the enzymes inside on our own? With consciousness, is it happening? For each and everything, Krishna is helping us to do. So they say that this eyelids to close also, there is a demigod who is there, who is helping us to do it. So everything, for digestion also, Krishna says, I am the digestive power. In the Bhagavad Gita, you might have seen, down the line we will see, Krishna says that, I am everything. So once you realize that and get that bhav that Krishna is all and all, and and he can do anything and he is doing everything, and when you get into that mode, then it is where you are coming towards surrendering to Krishna. Okay. And in one way also, if Krishna is satisfied by one's actions, okay, so then everyone will be satisfied. So just understand that if you think there are so many people who are demigod worshippers, and they came and asked me, I don't want to displease the demigods. I've been doing this demigod worship for so many and my family tradition is there, so all this is there, so how can I leave demigod worship? Then I said, in fact, the Shastra says that, Srila Prabhupada says that, how many demigods are there? Okay, do you know how many demigods are there?
33 koti. Let's say 33 crores.
33 crores demigods are there. 33 kotlu. So 33 crores demigods are there. Wow, how much endeavor you need to do to satisfy everybody. So that is the reason why Srila Prabhupada gives an example of watering at the root of the tree. When you water at the root of the tree, every part of the tree, flower, leaves, branches, everybody get nourished. So similarly, if you surrender and do it for the satisfaction of Krishna, everybody will satisfy, including your own children, your own family members, your society, everybody will be happy. I am saying that this little bit of realization is there, but this is possible that you can satisfy everybody. And you, because you are trying to satisfy, you are doing it for the Krishna's satisfaction. So everybody, Krishna is present in each and every jiva. So as Paramatma, so they will also get satisfied automatically. Okay, so and it is also mentioned that in the purport of this particular sloka, Krishna consciousness, one has to act firmly and obey the representative of Krishna, and one should accept the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master as one's mission in life. Okay, see, why do you really need a guru in your life? Can you tell me? Anybody? Why do you need a guru? You already have Bhagavad Gita, instructions are there. I can just practice now. So why do I need a guru, spiritual master?
We make a aparadh when we are not with Guru.
He will connect us to Krishna.
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, actually Guru is the person who connects with the Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, that is correct. But what I am saying is that somebody may say that, in fact, that is to some extent I can relate. Whatever instructions are there, Krishna has given in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, Srila Prabhupada also has given the purports. Okay, that's fine. But now I'll read it and then go ahead with my journey. Why should I need another guru in my life?
There may be many occasions when we don't understand the deep meaning of it, so the guru guides us in the right path.
Okay.
If a realized person can give us more knowledge than reading, Prabhuji.
Okay. So
we make
Guru is Prabhuji. Guru is the bona fide representative of Shri Krishna, who's going to guide us in the right direction.
Okay. Oh, see, this I'm telling you some of the facts. It may not be because you are matured enough to understand things. There is Bangalore. There is a temple. It used to be an ISKCON temple, but again there was one of the cases that has happened where they said that we do not wanted to really obey the rules and regulations given by ISKCON GBC. GBC is the governing body of ISKCON, and they have to report, each and every temple has to report to them. And this is what has been established by Srila Prabhupada. And it did happen that the Hare Krishna movement, they call themselves as, it's a Bangalore ISKCON, one of the temples. So they said that we don't wanted to follow this disciplic succession, anything after Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is our Diksha Guru, he is our Shiksha Guru, and we will put the idol of Srila Prabhupada and we'll get initiated. So they do not wanted to follow the disciplic succession. What are they called as? Can somebody remember the word they use for them? I'm just not
Ritviks, I think.
Ritviks. So these people are called Ritviks. And now the question may come to me also. I was also thinking, Srila Prabhupada, because sometimes your mind is making all these games with you. Sometimes I used to get an idea that why should I really have a guru? Srila Prabhupada is there, instructions are there. Why should I really have another guru again? Why should I get initiated? If I have to get initiated, what Ritviks these people are saying is the correct only, na? So Srila Prabhupada, why via media again? all this. So one last inputs I need from one of you. What do you think?
You have to be accountable to Guru. What we are doing, he is watching us at every step. Like we have Siksha Guru. Diksha Guru.
See, one of the things is that there is our false ego. That ego has to go out. Unless that goes out, you cannot really submit to Krishna. And if you wanted to submit to Krishna, right now, the way that you can submit to Krishna, when you submit to Guru, and when you please your Guru, you are pleasing Krishna. See, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakura, in his morning prayers, Mangalarati, he says that Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado Yasya prasadat nagita kitopi Dhyayan stuvam yashasri sandhyam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam Vande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. If you can please your spiritual master, if you can surrender to your spiritual master, you are doing practically here. And that is where you are able to submit yourself to Krishna, and Krishna will accept you only when you are submitting to your Guru. And in subsequent chapters, Krishna says that I will be more pleased if you can please my devotees. And Srila Prabhupada also says that in a very lucid way. He says that if you wanted to make me as your friend, you make my dog as my friend first. If I have a dog, if I am friendly with the dog, obviously I will be happy. So in one way, if you are making the Guru happy, Krishna is happy. So to practice practically the surrendering part, Guru will also come into your life. See, saying that surrendering to Krishna and then only it will happen. But how you can do the surrendering part? When you can surrender to your spiritual master, then you are surrendering to Krishna. So because now Krishna is not there in front of you, like Arjuna's fortunate situation, we are not there. So for us, via media is through your bona fide spiritual master only. And that is the reason why you need to surrender and you need to have Guru in your life. And he will instruct you, he will chastise you. Now just imagine how much chastisement Arjuna is going through. So all this is going to happen with you also, and that way Guru you will be able to surrender, and your life is going to be in one way spiritualized when you take up to this surrendering process to your Guru. Okay.
Prabhuji, I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead, Prabhu.
So when you say Guru, so Srila Prabhupada is also Guru, and you're mentioning that you need a Guru who is alive.
Yes.
Okay.
No, see, see, Srila Prabhupada is our Guru with respect to our Siksha, whatever he is giving. There can be, see, in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, what it is told is that you can have multiple Shiksha Gurus. See, I get motivated with listening to some Gurus. I listen to Prabhupada Maharaj. I listen to Radha Swami Maharaj. I listen to a few other Maharajs, Loknath Maharaj, and Bhakti Raghav Swami Maharaj. So a lot of Maharajs are there where I get in. So Siksha Guru can be multiple, but Diksha Guru will be only one. So who is going to give you Diksha? He is going to take more responsibility for you. See, when you take to this Diksha process, the Guru who is giving you initiation takes the vow in one way, saying that I will take the responsibility of delivering him to the Goloka. So that is a commitment from both sides. So I need to surrender to the Guru, and the Guru is going to give me initiation, and he is also taking a vow saying that I will take the responsibility to deliver him back to Goloka. So that is the kind of, it's not a easy relationship that we are building there. Because if suppose you are doing certain activities which will not take you to Goloka, your guru should also come back to this material world, and he need to take you back again. So that is a commitment that your guru is also doing. Making sense, Prabhujis, Matajis? Venkat Prabhu, is that okay?
Yeah. So this, I have one follow-up question. So I understand that we need a guru, but and all of us have to be initiated by somebody. Then only we can succeed in this journey.
Prabhuji, if you wanted to practice surrendering, not just one reason I'm saying that if you wanted to practice surrendering, can you tell me one way? I'm not so knowledgeable to really answer that question, but to my limited capacity, I'm asking you, how can you practice surrendering?
So so whatever we are doing now, that Seva, Swadhyaya and Sadhana, that is indirectly helping us to do that, right?
Yeah, indirectly doing it, but again, if you actually when you take up the what do you say, Diksha, you are totally committed person of doing sadhana, seva and swadhyaya. What are you doing? See, in the initiation vows, what are there are 4 initiation vows. If somebody goes in the YouTube also, you'll see that. When my wife got initiated, I was there. The guru asks you, are you going to chant the prescribed 16 rounds? Yes, I will do. And will you follow the 4 regulative principles? Yes, I will follow. So these 4 regulative principles, 16 rounds of chanting is what they are asking. And you are giving a commitment to do that. So you will be a regulated person. You will be more disciplined. See, disciple means discipline. When you are taking a vow to discipline yourself, that is what is initiation. You see that? See, it is not some kind of a binding or bondage you are kind of creating for yourself. Please do not see. Sometimes people say that. See, when you come to ISKCON, you nicely give some prasadam and give some online 15 days classes, 20 days classes. After that, slowly and steadily, you'll start telling that you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. Now you are saying that you need to also get initiated. See, that initiation part, it may happen this lifetime, or it may not happen in this lifetime. The point is that it is a serious commitment that if you do, it will become better for you in your long run. That's my feeling. Again, we may take some serious opinion on that. Is that okay, Venkat Prabhu? Can we move on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah, Dr. Prabhu. Yeah, what's your name, Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I am Ravi Babu Prabhuji. It is my office, I think. Officer.
Who is this Dr. Ravi Babu?
No, Prabhuji. Ravi Babu Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, good. You have a question, Prabhu?
This follow-up question only, Prabhu. We have Prabhupada's statue alongside Lord Krishna's statue in every temple, almost. Wherever I have gone, at least.
Yes.
So if I ask you, is Prabhupada is God? You'll say no. But Prabhupada is a guru. Then again, one Maharaj in Hyderabad temple will be again a guru. Again, Krishna Swami Prabhuji is also equally that Diksha kind of guru. So instead of surrendering to so many people, we can directly surrender at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna.
Okay. So you're saying that. So now let me ask you, is there anything wrong if you surrender to somebody? What is stopping you? Tell me.
No, Prabhuji, correct.
That one, that false ego which is telling you that I do not want to surrender. That is the one. See, when you, with this false ego is not come, see, that is the reason why we came from Goloka to this material world. Because that ego, that is what was stopping us. Why everybody is only serving the Supreme Lord? Why people should not surrender to me? Why people should not praise me? Why people should not do service to me? So this attitude, this ego has brought us here. And once you give up that ego, how is that going to happen? So you may, and in Shikshashtakam, it is very clearly mentioned that, what is that? Can somebody remember that sloka where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, what is that? Trunadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sada. Trunadapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna. You need to be like a blade of grass when people are stamping on you. How can you really practice that? So you need to be so humble. Your ego is there, it is stopping you, then where is the humility going to come? Where is the surrendering going to come? So, yeah, this discussion can go on, but the point what we are trying to say is that in our life, Guru plays an important role, directly or indirectly. So the Guru will influence you. So now, for that matter, the only contest that we have is that what these Ritviks have. We more or less, our mindset is also like Ritvik mindset. They are also saying that why do we need a external Guru? We will stop the Guru Parampara at Srila Prabhupada stage. Now, if the same question may come, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur level, people should have stopped. Then why should they come to Srila Prabhupada? Say that, na? See, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is one of the stalwarts in our Guru Parampara recent years. So, see, Krishna is telling that you have to follow the Guru Parampara, then you have to follow the disciplic succession. You cannot do any addition, deletion to that. You have to. This is as it is, we have to follow. Not mechanically, but ask yourself, and maybe I am not intelligently able to answer a lot of questions what you have, but we can discuss about it. Okay, so we'll move on. We'll just take a few more minutes to complete this other things also. Thank you, Prabhuji. All are relevant questions you have, so no doubt about it. Okay. So devotion versus sense control. Bhogaishwarya pratakshanam taya praharta chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadau na vidyate. In the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. So what does it mean here is that if you are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence, who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination for devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. See, so having too much of, see, when you take Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, these two are brothers, and we are followers of Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, and we are called Rupanuragas. That means we are followers of Rupa Goswami, because he has given the nectar of instructions and nectar of devotion and all these books, whatever have come based on the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spent quality time, I think around 3 months or 4 months in Prayag. He has spent time with Rupa Goswami to give all this knowledge such that he can write these books and instructions which is coming as our Guru Parampara and it passed to us. See, for that matter, so a lot of things are there which we are taking it from our Guru Parampara. So anyways, so what we are trying to put here is that Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, they were Jamindars at that time. Not chota mota jamindars, because they were working under the Nawab directly, and they were the ministers. Both brothers were ministers, and it so happened that the Nawab, first Sanatan Goswami left, saying that I do not want to do the service because I have a desire to serve the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mission, so I'm leaving. So Rupa Goswami was there. Slowly Rupa Goswami also wanted to give up taking any service. And what he did is that he also kind of told that Nawab, say, I don't wanted to do any service now. I wanted to devote my time and take care of the services what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving. So then Nawab, what he did is that he put these people in jail. And whatever earnings they had, because there is so much to tell, but in a nutshell, whatever earnings they had, they just gave it to few of their relatives and etc. etc. And some of the money what they had, they bribed the people who were there in the jail as the doorkeepers, and they just came to Vrindavan. So finally, so what I'm saying is that sometimes your opulence, or if it is too much, then also you will get attached to it. So that is one of the reasons why, not like you should utilize that in the service of the Supreme Lord. Now, if you see, recently we listened to the lecture of Amrish Prabhu, who is the Ford chairperson, Alfred Ford's grandson. In US, you might be knowing Ford company. He gave a recently lecture also. So he is utilizing whatever opulence he has in the service of Krishna. So like that, if we also dovetail, then we will be able to do this. Okay. The last detached engagements. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nishtraigunya Bhavarjuna Nirdvando Nitya Sattvasto Niryoga Kshema Atmavan. Can somebody read the translation, please? We'll just end in a few more minutes.
The Vedas deal mainly with the subject of the three modes of material nature. O Arjuna, become transcendental to these three modes. Be free from all dualities and from all anxieties for gain and safety, and be established in the self.
Yes. So now here, what Krishna is saying, that all material activity involve actions and reactions in these three modes of material nature. They are meant for fruitive results which cause bondage in this material world. So when you are operating in these three modes, including the Sattva Guna, mode of goodness also, it's going to be a bondage for us. So what it is mentioned here is that the Vedas deal mostly with fruitive activities to gradually elevate the general public from the field of sense gratification to a position of transcendental pain. So one has to come to the slowly follow whatever modes of nature you are having and come to the mode of goodness. And when you come to the platform of mode of goodness, that's the right platform which will help you to get connected to the scriptures and take up to the process of bhakti. And from there you can take up to Shuddha Sattva, where you are no more getting attached to these three modes of material nature. So any doubts anybody has in this regard? Okay. This is again a very famous sloka. Can somebody read this sloka? Very famous one. Somebody is calling himself half engineer. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, somebody. Yeah, Devoti Mataji, can I just ask any other person? Because this is a very famous sloka coming from B.R. Chopra, Mahabharata times.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can I do?
Karasya ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalahe tur phalahe durgur
Mate Sangosta Akarmani.
Mate Sangosta
Akarmani. Yes, you go ahead.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Karmani vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana mam karma phalahe durgo mate sangosta karmani.
Okay. Devavati Mataji, you can finally read the sloka. Malti Mataji. Okay.
You have a right.
Okay, so you have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duties. This is kind of a, see, it is mentioned that there are three considerations here. One is that the prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. Prescribed duties are activities enjoyed in terms of one's acquired modes of material nature. So based on that, you do your prescribed duties. Capricious work means actions without the sanction of authority. That's what we are seeing. So vikarma. One is sakama karma, prescribed duties. Vikarma, inaction. Inaction is not doing any activity, means not performing one's prescribed duties at all. So that is what here it is mentioned. So the Lord advised that Arjuna not to be in inactive, but that he perform his prescribed duties without being attached to the results. That is what he is telling here. Akarmani. Akarmani means, here the word akarma is coming, where you need to do not with any attachment to the results, but akarma means that you need to do it for the satisfaction of Krishna. So you are not the enjoyer is Krishna. So that is what it is meant, akarmani. So one last Atma Rama is there. It will not take much time. So Atma Rama is basically what is the result of for someone who performs such duties with the determination and enthusiasm. Which duties? The duties which we are talking about, prescribed duties, as well as your sanatana, spiritual duties and material duties. With determination and enthusiasm, what will happen to that kind of person? The doubt will come to all of us. Such a person will become an Atma Rama, a spiritually realized soul who finds pleasure in the self. In the pleasure in the self meanings, you'll be self-satisfied. So that is what it means. Krishna explains how the Atma Rama is unaffected by happiness or distress, gain or loss, honor or dishonor. And what is the right word to use for the last bullet point? Hari Prabhu, Malti Mataji, others.
Dualities.
What is the right word that can be used? Sanskrit word for this kind of person?
Sthita Prajna.
Sthita Prajna. Okay. So Atma Rama or Sthita Prajna is one of the same. He is not getting bewildered in happiness or distress, gain or loss, honor or dishonor. He is equanimity, equanimous is what he is. Sthita Prajna. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param društva nivartate. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense objects remains. But ceasing such engagement by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. What does it really reveal from this particular thing for you? Anybody? We are done. This is the last sloka.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. It speaks about the sense organs, not giving importance to the sense organs like what we see, what we taste. Not to give importance to the sense organs and enjoy just the material life.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Any other interpretation or what is your revelation from this?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Prabhuji. We have to use all our senses for pleasing the Lord Krishna, as Ambarish Maharaj was given the example by Srila Prabhupada.
Okay. I've still not got what I'm looking
Giving higher taste to the soul, like we are used to all this enjoyment. If you give something higher or better, then the soul will leave all the enjoyment. And
now what I want you to do, all of you, to really read it and get the gist out of these two sentences. What is that Krishna is trying to reveal here? Venkat Prabhu.
saying if you're engaged at a higher level, then the lower level things will not matter, or this material enjoyment and all that, you will not have that taste. You'll forget that taste because you're experiencing something beyond that and which is higher than that.
The point what here makes, what is told here is that the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment. That means you have stopped sense enjoyment, though the taste for sense object remains. In the purport of this particular sloka, Srila Prabhupada in his lectures also has given the examples of Shaubari Muni. We have seen it so many times, or heard it so many times. See, what happened is that since you have not really got attached to a higher taste, Shaubari Muni went to do austerities because he was seeing that there is so much of distraction on the land, on the surface of the land. He went inside, because of this yogic power, he went inside the ocean and he was doing austerities. And once he saw a male and a female fish mating, then he started getting the desire which was dormant inside, that I should also gratify my senses. He came out of his tapas and austerity, came to a king of Mathura called Mandata, and he asked, can I marry your daughter? At least one daughter, you can give me one of your, because he had 50 daughters, that king, Madata. So then he said, okay, you go and approach my daughter. If they are interested, then you can get married to her. So, but what he did is that he had so much of yogic power that he made himself very young and pleasing body he got. Then when he went and approached, all the 50 daughters wanted to get married to him. They were interested to get married to him. So he married all 50. And he was, with his yogic power, he made the palaces for them with lot of jewelry, this, that, opulence. And he was, in material opulence, he was like left and right, he was enjoying. Then all of a sudden he realized that what is that? What happened to me? I went to do these tapas and austerities because I thought these are all not what I want. Now all of a sudden I just got indulged in this. So this is what Krishna is saying. The embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, because that's what Shaubari Muni did. He restricted himself, but the taste for sense objects remains. So if you have to remove, see, you cannot go prematurely. So be cautious of Kanchana and Kanchana. So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. So you need to be careful. So only the way you can purify your senses is through cultivating the higher taste. And when you take up to this chanting process and follow the Guru, Sadhu and Shastra instructions, as well as do your Swadhyay, Seva and Sadhana, then you will be getting your senses will get purified. Especially your senses gets purified by doing what? Can somebody remember that? How will your senses get purified?
By eating prasadam, Prabhuji.
Fantastic. And at the same time, doing service in the association of devotees. Senses also get purified. Eating prasadam, that is exactly what it is. But at the same time, when you do this in the service, seva, in the association of devotees also, you will get your senses get purified. And when you wanted to do seva, that means that you cultivated a higher taste. And that's what Krishna is saying. So with that, we are ending today's discussion. So basically, we have seen that this particular chapter, Gita, which is acronymed, G is for Guru, and I is for identity, T is for two duties, and A is for Atmarama. And one should surrender to an authorized Guru to get out of ignorance and material perplexities. Our real identity is we are spirit, soul, not body. soul is immortal, non-destructible, changes from one body to another body is happening. You should accomplish the two duties, that is conditional and constitutional duties, and remain self-satisfied without bewilderment. Atmarama state we need to go. So that is what is the gist of today's discussion. If anybody has any questions, we'll take it up very quickly and we'll end for today.
I have a question, Prabhuji.
Yeah, go ahead, Mataji.
Actually, my mother passed away 7 years ago. She was, in an unconscious state about 3 days before her death. And before she was going to pass away, she just opened her eyes and looked in one direction. And then the moment she closed her eyes, she was no more. Did her soul leave her body at that particular moment? That is my question.
That is the same question what Prabhuji has asked yesterday.
Because she used to get a lot of hallucinations, Prabhuji, because she used to tell me there Krishna is calling me, because she's an ardent devotee of Lord Guru Ayappan, who's an incarnation of Lord Krishna.
Okay. Yeah, Mataji, what I will do is that since this question is coming again and again in a different angle, I will give you a complete picture about when does the soul really leave the body. And when you are saying that your mother was in coma for 3 days and again all of a sudden she was able to open her eyes and then after some
hardly 2 minutes maybe she opened her eyes and she looked into one direction. She was not listening to what when we were calling her and all that. She is, that was not in her mind at all.
Right. So what we will do is that next week, when we do the discussion initially, we will discuss about these 5 life forces that are there in this body and what happens to the body or what kind of characteristics get diminished when one life force goes away, when another life force goes away. Slowly, when all the life forces goes away, then you are completely, that means your soul has left your body. So what are those life forces? What are the symptoms when this one of the life forces goes away? And what is this each life force corresponds to what? We will see that.
I'll be happy if you give us a full detailed explanation.
Yes. Next, Seturam Prabhu also asked a very nice question yesterday. More or less, everybody is in this situation where, because you wanted to understand certain things. That's really nice that you are putting up so much, very nicely you are asking these kind of questions, which will help others also.
Because this was always in my mind, Prabhuji. I didn't know what was it. That is...
Any question, Mataji, please, without any hesitation, each one of you, please ask. And if I know, I will let you know. If I don't know, I'll ask my seniors and get you the answers. But please believe me, I will not do any concoction based on my understanding. I will base it, and you should also vet it out whether, Prabhuji, what you are saying, is it based on Guru, Sadhu and Shastra? These 3 should match. And that's the litmus test it has to pass through. It should not be like, I'm just telling based on this, like that. Thank you, Mataji. Please
thank you so
park
much.
It for next week.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Answer this. Thank you. Any other devotee has any other question?
Prabhuji, Parthiban here, I have a question, one question.
Please, Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I mean, this question is something related to the faith which we were discussing. Because I have a question like, see, the faith which we are telling, how we can practice this uninterrupted faith in each and in our every actions, like that is driven by the super soul.
See, Prabhu, let me just 1 second. I'll just show you something. Prabhuji. Yeah, Pratibandhan Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhuji.
So, the Shraddha means faith, right? What is your question? Can you repeat one more time?
I mean, how we can put this faith practice in our day-to-day actions?
Now you see that this Shraddha, the faith, what will happen is that you need to cultivate that. You need to increase your faith. So what will happen is that initially having little faith in the process or in the Bhagavad Gita, what you're reading, what instructions given, you need to have that faith, little faith. Slowly what will happen is that in the association of the sadhu sangha, in the association of the devotees, when you are learning or hearing, then the Shraddha will improve or it will increase. The next level, when you do bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti will happen. That means all your misgivings about the Supreme Lord, all that whatever misunderstandings that you have, the false understanding, or whatever are the impurities that are there in your heart, all that will start getting removed. And then also when this happens also, your Shraddha will increase. So later on you will be fixed in your study of Bhagavad Gita or in the process. So the Nishtha will increase. When you come to the Nishtha phase, your Shraddha will be more higher. And finally, Ruchi will come, Asakti will come, and you will go into the Bhava and Prema stage. At this stage, when you compare what is the level of Shraddha that you have, the faith that you have cultivated, it is rock solid faith. So, if you are asking how do I cultivate this, these are the steps that are given by Rupa Goswami. In his Nectar of Devotion, he has mentioned all this. It is not coming by my own this thing. This has come from Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Devotion. Okay, you need to have Nectar of Instructions. Ado Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Nishtha, Ruchi and Asakti and Bhava and Prema, then you will go back to Goloka. So now let me ask you, what is your question and did I address that?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Actually, I had my question is something related to that Bhava and Prema, like how we can attain that level of faith.
It will take these sequential steps are there, and in fact, you know what? We are doing some seminars or some morning lectures on the chanting process, because the easiest way to go to the Bhava and Prema stage as when you follow the Yuga Dharma. And what is the Yuga Dharma for this Kali Yuga?
Chanting.
Chanting
the holy
Nama Sankirtan.
Nama Sankirtan when you do, because all the spiritual potency is there in the Nama that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu very mercifully has given. See, if you have observed one thing, Krishna's instruction is that I will give you my protection. I will make you come to my Goloka if you surrender to me. That is his final instructions. Na? You have seen that. In the 18th chapter, he has given. So when you surrender only, he is going to accept you. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, just take this holy name. I am begging you, please take this holy name. And you can come back to Goloka. So he was so merciful. He has given this holy name to us. This is the easiest process, but we are so unfortunate people. We are still not convinced. Saying that, how can a holy name, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. How can just this mantra take me to Goloka? So we are not surrendering to the process. We are not having faith in the process. We are not having faith in the holy name. So once you cultivate that little faith and practice, that is what will take you to Bhava and Prema state. So we are, see, in front of us, we have seen that so many devotees have got the perfection. We have seen so many Maharajas, we have seen so many. Radhesham Prabhu today morning, he has given wonderful lecture. He is dedicated his life to preach this movement. How is that? Rompad Maharaj, he is giving lectures on Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Each day he gives lectures for not less than 6 hours. Where is that so much every day? So this is all what we need to cultivate, and it will take some time, Prabhu, Pratibandhan Prabhu. So just follow one thing, Sadhu Sangha, association, just keep in association level. Keep coming to this association. Don't leave this association. Slowly, all this, whatever is required will start coming to you, and you'll go to the next, like that. Each one of us were like that. And we are also still launching for having association, and we wanted to keep that association. Okay, did I answer, Prabhu?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Thanks for that explanation.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Any other question anybody has? If not, we will end for today. Okay. Any other devotee, any other questions anybody has? No? Okay. Ramya Mataji, can you do kirtan for ending kirtan for us today? So don't hesitate. You can, all of you can do. Soham Geet Mataji. Any other Matajis who have not been participating that well? Okay. Now, please forgive me. You're not participating. Not sometimes we are not used to ask questions and things like that. We'll have some apprehension, but I request all of you to participate. Okay. Pratibandhan Prabhu, can you do Hare Krishna Maha Mantra?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Just a few rounds. Go ahead, Prabhu. Any tune that you are comfortable.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय,
जय
वैष्णव वृंद की जय,
जय
प्रभुपाद की जय, भगवत गीता की जय.
Jai.
Thank you very much, Mataji and Prabhuji. Please do your assignments, whatever, if it is time permits, please do all that. And any doubts you can also raise. And please read Bhagavad Gita, do your sadhana. Please come to the chanting sessions, take up to the chanting process. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Dandavat pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
What is the icon
horizontal उससे बोलता. So we should tell eyeball is displayed forward, downward and laterally. क्योंकि मैं medial से push करता ना बेटा, medial से push करता ना.